What if the game was all there was? What if every dice roll was the beginning and the end of the fun which could be extracted from a hobby that I've participated in for 28 years? What if every line in every rulebook was an ever-present nagging moment in your mind? What if their rulebook is better than mine? What if their list is better than mine? Did I make the right choices building this list? Did I buy the right models? Why are these rules so convoluted? This doesn't make any sense. That's so broken. I'm so mad at Games Workshop. It's time to stop. All of this frustration, all of this tracking every moment of the rules, all of this obsessing over what every other codex gets, or even what your own codexes get, there just isn't a reason to be stressed out about it. Though I myself have opted to withdraw from 9th edition due to me not enjoying the core mechanics of the game, it wasn't from the reasons above. It's because the game felt poorly put together. It's a series of rule sets combined together to move away from a tactical wargame, and I don't enjoy games that aren't really that. It feels like a move to something like Magic the Gathering, more so than it feels like a move to being true to Warhammer 40,000. Well then, why am I still here? It's because there is more to this hobby than the crunch. The crunch being a term used to describe the rules and the math behind those rules. I had a realization myself years ago, during 6th edition. I was unhappy. The rules had moved into a place I didn't like. I felt stressed about the armies I owned. I felt stressed out about how the rules felt broken, and they kind of were. I bought codexes that weren't my own because I wanted, more than anything, to win and know what was coming. I had a crisis in a way, as Warhammer made up much of my spare time with my friends. It's what we played. I'd spent almost 20 years playing at that time, and I couldn't imagine either playing less or not playing at all. All of my love of the hobby and for Warhammer was poured into the game. In the last decade, my wisdom has grown. My understanding of what brings me satisfaction from the hobby changed. I certainly still play tabletop. I play other games with frequency when the opportunity arises. Battletech, Bolt Action, and even if I get the chance to play Warhammer Fantasy, for the record, I can't wait for the old world. I'm super excited. All fill slots Warhammer 40,000 once did for my spare time. Now, much of my spare time is currently spent on building and painting Warhammer 40,000 miniatures. I talk Warhammer 40,000 lore with friends. I read or listen to Warhammer 40,000 books and audiobooks. I play Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Fantasy video games when I get the chance to play video games. My friends and I still talk about the game itself from time to time, even if we don't participate in it as much as we used to. It's really because I evolved, and it's because I learned what I really loved about the hobby. Was it the competitive edge, playing to win at every cost? I'd burned more than a few bridges being a jackass about the rules, being a lawyer at the table instead of playing in the spirit of the game. In my opinion, looking back on it, as I had years ago when I made a fundamental healthier change of my view of the hobby, many, though certainly not all, of those victories ring hollow. It was trying to fill a hole in my life somewhere. Or it was a driving force inside of me to be the best at something, and I was good at it. I recently made a video called Chasing the Meta, which inspired me to write this script, as I'd wanted to really get a message across that there is more to all of this than just running the 40k rat race. What I learned was that the thing I cared the least about in Warhammer 40,000 were the rules. I learned to love the models. I used to hate painting, and now I love painting. I was always big into the lore, but now the lore dominates my view of the game. When I build armies, much for my own personal enjoyment more than anything tabletop related, I try to build armies that would look like the armies these forces would actually deploy, rather than fixing any multitude of broken units together to try to goof my way to victory.
This is bullshit.
I've embraced Warhammer as the world that it is. I left the rules behind. I dislodged their hooks from my mind and just embraced what I should have always embraced about the hobby. I embraced the grim, dark world. I invested in the stories. I invested in being a better painter and a better modeler. I embraced the idea of using my models on the tabletop to tell a story with my opponent. I played Warhammer 40,000 8th edition a fair bit until near the end, and 9th edition has done very little for me. I don't feel any tension or sensation of missing out. I'm still a part of an incredible community, both locally and online, where I get to experience the best parts of the hobby. And one day, the rules will be better, and I'll just jump back into the game then. If the rules don't line up with what I want, I just won't play, and I will be very happy doing that. I will just keep doing what I'm doing, because I learned that the rules, even the game, was the least compelling part about this multifaceted hobby. I've made the best of it. And love the game or hate the game, you should learn to make the best of your hobbying experience as well, whether you disagree with me or not. And just as a quick note, to those who are following the rules and only the rules, well, you're crunching how to play the game in the most cutthroat way possible, which all really comes down to nothing in the end by the time the next FAQ comes out. I'm going to be over here making models and having a great time doing it with friends. But hey, that's just me. I've been the Big Red Bear, and thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button, and also consider subscribing to the channel. We also do a live stream every single day, and we have an active Discord. Have yourselves a great day, and goodbye.